Hello, and welcome to episode 159 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Today, we are starting a new series. This series is all about going from dreaming to designing, and it's definitely walking up to our boot camp that we have coming in January. So Launch Your Business Boot Camp is around the corner. I would love for you to sign up if you're thinking about launching your business in 2026. That program will definitely get you from dreaming to designing, but maybe you're not convinced yet, or you just need a little more information. So we're going to go through this 4-part series to help you get a taste of what we're going to be doing in the boot camp. And if it intrigues you and you think that you need more of a hands-on help with launching your business, then you can go ahead and sign up for boot camp in January. We'll get you going. But I really think these 4 topics that we're going to go over are going to be so helpful, even if you don't sign up for the boot camp, even if you've already launched your business. So let's get into the episode. Today we are talking about your niche. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Okay, so the first issue we are addressing in this series is talking about your niche. We've talked about niche before, but I really think that it's an important part of understanding where you want to go as a business and what you even love doing as a designer. As I've mentioned before, my niche isn't necessarily specific aesthetic, but I definitely have a client that I serve and things that I love producing for each client, and certain styles I love to work in, but there are plenty of those. But let's talk a little bit more about why niche matters, first of all. So the common myth is if I niche down, I'm going to miss out on clients. So the opposite of that is true, actually. Niching definitely helps you. It helps you in a couple different ways to, first of all, stand out in a saturated market. It's true that there's very low entry into interior design because it is definitely a passion career. A lot of people do end up finding their way to it, just like you are now. So you are listening to this podcast likely because you're curious about the career of interior design, and it has been a passion of yours for a long time. You want to see if you can do it as a living. So it definitely is a saturated market. It's starting to become more and more saturated, and at least of all, you see it everywhere. It's something that people can DIY themselves if they have a knack for it, but you're trying to create a career out of it, right? So having a niche can help you to stand out because it talks specifically to a small targeted audience. Also, when you have a niche, you can charge more because you become an expert in that specific area, whatever the niche is. If you like to have your area of expertise be first-time homebuyers, bachelors, or elderly couples who are trying to live in place as long as they can. There's so many different areas you can niche into, but as you do more and more of those specific projects, you are researching product, you're researching best methods for that type of design, and then you are naturally becoming an expert for that. So your expertise is definitely worth something. You are able to charge more for that. And then because you have happy clients in that specific area, that you will get referrals from other people needing that exact same thing. So maybe you do work with aging in place clients, then their friends are all aging as well, so that you can get referrals from other clients that are aligned in that niche. When you don't have a niche, you are considered a generalist. If you're a generalist, you could say, I design homes, but if you are a specialist, you could say, I help busy families create colorful, functional kitchens that inspire connection. So you go from just average language to more specific language, and you can get really targeted with your audience. Think about when you are looking for things in your own life. You are looking for a specific language that resonates with you for your outcome, your goal that you're trying to achieve. So what is a process to help define your niche? If you're not exactly 100% sure of what to do for your niche, or even the idea of saying you have a niche is too overwhelming, just say where your expertise should be or what your specific design client will be. So first, think about what lights you up. What's your passion? What types of projects do you love working on? And what clients energize you versus drain you? Maybe the client is going to be the place you start with first. So like we talked about, you could do first-time homebuyers, young couples, or you can do busy families in the middle of life and having all the sports and everything and gear that goes along with that. Maybe you understand that really well and you can design homes that support that life. Or you could be in the later part of your life. It could maybe not necessarily be an age associated with the client, but it could be a certain profession. Maybe you love working with doctor clients or professionals, attorneys. If you get into a specific client from a specific line of work, that can also be a great niche because you develop language that that client really understands. But you could also look at the type of projects you want to work on. So maybe you just love kitchens or baths or additions, sunrooms, nurseries. There's endless list, but really just take the time to sit down and think about what lights you up. Look through Pinterest and see the different styles of design, different rooms, what is really getting you energized when you think about designing that type of a space. Next, you're going to look at what are you good at? Where are your strengths and expertise lying naturally? So you can use your unique skills and your background, maybe from another profession, or your perspective. Perhaps it's something that you've gone through yourself. Maybe you love caring for people who have gone through breast cancer, and you can understand designing and creating an environment that really supports the recovery process because maybe you went through it yourself. And so you can take that with you to really being an expert at it because you have experienced it. Maybe your background is great with project management. Maybe your niche is just that you can really run a project so efficiently because not everybody can. And if your background is in logistics or project management, then that is definitely something you bring to the table that you should focus on as your expertise. Or maybe you've worked with color your whole life and you just love color. You can't live without color. You wear color, you paint, you do all these other extra activities that just loves incorporating color into daily life. Then you should put that forward on your website and in your marketing to attract the clients who are looking to add color into their life. Maybe you have a construction background because you built a house yourself, or maybe you have a dad or a husband who is a contractor. So that gives you a personal insight into that area. So what does the market need is probably the next thing you need to consider. Like, where's the demand in the market? Sometimes you'll see that it might not be obvious to you, but other people can give you kind of a reflection on this. And maybe you need to do a survey and see what are things that people are looking for that they can't actually find. Is there a service that you could provide that is missing in the market? Are there gaps in your area, specific area? Because depending on how rural or urban you are, there might not be access to furniture or different things that are super custom, or maybe it's an influence from other countries or just sourcing. You might be able to bring that into your area and help facilitate clients getting things that they can't get on their own. Is nobody doing a quick room refresh because they only want to take on full remodel projects or only new builds, and no one wants to do the one-off design, like a designer for a day, or just people who want to downsize? Maybe there's something like that out there that you're not seeing in your local community. and that would be a great spot for you to plug into just to get started. Downsizing might not be necessarily the passion that you've had your whole life for, but maybe you're really good at it and there's a need for it, and it can really get you in the door and get you work in your portfolio. So where all of those 3 areas overlap, that's going to be your sweet spot. So thinking back again, what those 3 areas are, it's what lights you up, what are you really good at, and what does the market actually need right now? So if those can all come together, then you are golden. You're ready to go. You have very distinct and clear messaging that you can put into words and then put it onto your website, which is going to be your main driver for getting new clients. So let's talk about putting it into words. There's a formula, a statement formula that you can use. You can write this down, and we can include it in the show notes to help you specify what your expertise is. So the formula is, I help insert specific client with insert specific service so they can insert specific result. For example, I help new homeowners furnish their first home with confidence so that they can enjoy it without overwhelm. Or I help busy professionals with full service remodels so that they can have a stress-free design experience. Or I help empty nesters downsize their homes so that they are not living with clutter and overwhelm. I encourage you to start on your statement today. It's something you can do right now. You might not get it right the first time, but just to start throwing out ideas and seeing how to get that statement going. So once you have that clarified, people say, okay, this is what I do. That's what you can do in your little elevator speech when people ask what you do. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm an aspiring interior designer, or I am an interior designer, or you just say, I'm just an interior designer, or just a decorator. You would instead say, I help new parents build the nursery of their dreams so they can just enjoy the first months with their baby in peace. Whatever it is, play with it. So that's my challenge to you. So write your niche statement, and then you can go ahead and share it with me. If you want me to give you some feedback, send me a DM or email me. I'd love to see it. This is a small step to help build a foundation for your career, for your business. And so if you're thinking about starting your business in interior design, be listening over the next couple of weeks through the end of the year, because we're going to be talking about this a lot more. But I also have the opportunity for you to launch your business bootcamp in January. It's going to open in December, so you can start doing some pre-work ahead of time. But I would love to work with you in the bootcamp. We're going to take this little portion of it, but also expand on this so much more so that you have clarity in your messaging and in your purpose. Okay, so like I said, we are ramping up to launch your business bootcamp, and we have all the information. The link to get on the wait list is in the show notes. Don't forget, also, we have put together on Spotify a series of different groupings of episodes, depending on where you're at in your design journey. So we have a group of episodes we've put together for people who are aspiring interior designers. So we have one for starting your journey, and that list can be found on Spotify under Design Curious Podcast. And you can also find a list for growing your confidence in interior design. So from newbie to confident designer, after you've already started. So that's kind of the next phase. We have a list of episodes that apply to that phase of your design career. And then another list that we have is for people who are switching gears to go into interior design from a second career, they're doing a career change. We have a whole list of episodes that are applicable to that category. So we found that it might be really useful, because I know with 159 episodes, you might not have listened to all of them. Here's where you can fast track to the ones that speak to you specifically, where you're at in the process of your design journey. So find that on Spotify. I think that we'll also have a list somewhere on the website for the specific episodes that are in those lists. If you are on Apple Podcasts or other platforms, we'll put a link for those as well. That is all I have for you this week. Next week, we'll have another great episode. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.